Today we're learning about the human digestive system. Every person has all of these inside, all of these organs inside of your body to help you digest your food. So let's see. If so, you need nutrition. You need to. Ingestion is when you take in food in your mouth. Digestion is when you break down the food. In means to go in. Die means to break apart. You need macronutrients, which are like fish and proteins and pizza. And you need all these food. You don't need pizza, but you need food that you eat. And micronutrients are things like vitamins and minerals and water. Now, this is a illustration of the parts or the organs of the digestive system, and everyone has all of these parts. So we are starting in the mouth and we're going down the esophagus. The esophagus kind of runs near the lungs, and then under the lungs, under the muscle that we call the diaphragm that controls our lungs, then we have the organs of the digestive system. So half of your upper body, half of that is for air, your lungs and your respiratory and circulatory system, and then the lower half is for digestion. Moving on. So ingestion is we take our food in our mouth, we smell with our nose, and we chew our food up and break it into small pieces. And then your saliva helps break down and your food, and it also helps moisten the food so it goes down your throat easily. There's a little tiny flap. Okay, when you go and you breathe in and you eat in, your nose and your mouth connect in the very back of your throat. So you can breathe in two ways. It's very important to breathe. So there's two ways to breathe in, but there's one big way to eat through your mouth. It goes down the tube, and here you have a choice. It can go either down into the esophagus, into the stomach, or down into the tube called the trachea. And there's a little flap right here called your epiglottis, and your epiglottis will close so that your food will not go into your lungs. Your food will only go into your throat. Okay, so down the esophagus, and there's some muscles here that help the food move down, 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 down. And this even works if you're standing on your head and your feet are in the air. These muscles will still move the food down into your stomach. Okay, I don't suggest you do that, but it would work if that would happen. Okay. Like astronauts in space, there's no gravity to pull the food down, so their muscles move the food into their stomach. And there's little muscles here. This is your stomach, by the way. There's a muscle here at the top of the stomach that closes to keep your food in, and a muscle at the bottom that closes to keep your food in until it is fully digested or fully broken down. It takes about 3 hours or more for your stomach this is the stomach, to actually break down the food into smaller parts. Okay. So we know about the mouth. Every animal kind of has that to take in food. Your teeth are there to break the food down, and your tongue is to move it around to your teeth so that your teeth can chew it up and your tongue helps swallow. Your teeth are mechanical digestion, and the saliva is chemical digestion. Here's a little illustration of food going down the esophagus and the muscles pushing the food down into the stomach. You see the epiglottis closes so the food will not go into your airways. And it goes down into your stomach. Here's another view of the parts of our, the side view of our face and our neck. You can see the vertebrae. You can see the spinal cord going down through the vertebrae. You can see the nose, and you can see this airway. And here is the airway going into your lungs. Here's the tube, esophagus, going down into your stomach. And there's your tongue muscle. Okay. You're talking about your larynx is where you would sing. Stomach, okay, shaped like this, and it can stretch so that it can hold more food. When your stomach when the food goes out of your stomach gets smaller. It sends a signal to your brain to feed it more so it can stretch again. Okay, here's the inside of your stomach that is made up of little muscles that help move the food around and also help digestion. Okay, stores the food. Your stomach disinfects your food. Maybe you ate something that had some dust on it or bacteria, so it would kill that bacteria and destroy that. Okay. Okay, here's this review. The food has gone into our mouth, and now it is in our stomach. Sorry. Okay. You may have heard of heartburn. Heartburn is, let me back up, is when this little muscle doesn't work so good, or maybe you ate too much and some of the food squirts back up the esophagus. And so it is in here, and you have that stomach acid, which is churning up and eating up your food and digesting your food. And now the acid is now in your throat, in your esophagus, and it feels like it's burning, which it kind of is. It's kind of eating away at your esophagus. And we call that heartburn because it's near the heart, but it's not, your heart is not really on fire. It's just inside your esophagus. There are some smaller organs in your digestive system, where your liver is not actually small. Your liver is actually a very large organ that helps digest your food by producing bile. And bile is stored in the gallbladder. And bile and the pancreas and the spleen all help break down your food so you can use the food you just ate. So when your food's in your stomach, it's just being broken down. You haven't got the energy yet. So now we want to help get the energy. So here's another close-up picture of the liver. Your pancreas does great things. Your pancreas helps you digest your sugar that you just ate. Your liver helps break down the fats that you just ate so you can use those fats. So here are all the little extra organs in the digestive system. The liver, the gallbladder, the spleen, the pancreas helps you break down the different foods that you just ate. And now your food has moved into the small intestine. We call it the small intestine because it is a small tube. It is not actually like short. It's actually a very, very long tube. It would probably stretch all the way across the classroom if you stretched it out. So, but it's a small in diameter tube that your food moves through. And this is where, in the small intestine, this is where you actually absorb the nutrients into your bloodstream that the cells can use. So now you're actually feeding your body, you're feeding the cells in your body through the small intestine. That happens. So this is the small intestine tube. And this is inside the small intestine. I'm going to call it villi. The villi are little tiny hair-like things inside your small intestine that absorb the nutrients and take them to the blood so the blood can take your nutrients all the way to every cell in your body. Here's another picture of the villi. So the villi are inside the small intestines, and you see the blood vessels connected to it so that you're actually feeding the nutrients to your body through the blood system. Okay. So it says the small intestines are over 6 meters long. 6 meters long. That's about 18-20 feet long. That is as long as my den, my living room in my house. It's pretty long. Okay, so this is just a review. The food went into our mouth, it got broken down into our stomach, and now it went through the pancreas helped it. And now here is a real picture of a slice of the small intestines. This white area, that's where the food would go through the tube of the small intestine. And then here is the villi. So you can see the little bitty pockets of spaces where the food might go into the bloodstream and get carried away and used in the cells of our body. Now we have another, one of the last organs is called the large intestine. It's called that because it's thicker or more fatter around, and it's about 3 feet long, and it's shaped like this. It goes up, over, and then around and down. Okay, so here is where your body absorbs water. So the water that you need is absorbed in the small intestines. So, large intestines. As the food is going around back up into the small intestines, it is kind of a liquid mix, okay, like a slushy or a milkshake. But when it goes into the large intestines, now your body pulls the water out of that, and so it becomes more of a solid. And your body uses the water that's in the large intestines. If your body does not get enough water out, you might have diarrhea. If your body takes too much water, it will be too solid, and you might have constipation. So the large intestine is shaped like this: up, over, down, and out. Solid materials pass through the large intestine. These are things that are not digestible. These are the fibers, the solids that are not digestible. Water is absorbed in the large intestine. And this is where you also absorb some vitamins to help your body. The last part of your large intestine is called the rectum. And the rectum is where your solid waste is stored until it exits the body. So here is the last picture, I believe, of a reminder of all of the organs. You see, if you're talking about from your shoulders and halfway down, this is where your lungs and your heart are. But down through that, under your lungs and heart, is where we have all of the digestive. So half of the trunk of your body is for feeding all the cells. The other half is for giving your cells the air it needs. So your body needs air and nutrients. And so the body is made so that you can take in the air through your lungs and take in your food through your digestive system so that you can feed the cells of the rest of your body. It is one long tube, the digestive system, from the mouth, a one-way tube all the way from the front to the back. Thank you for learning about the digestive system.